This is News 3 Now at 6.
George Floyd, the Stinnett families, Breonna Taylor. They are our Emmett Till moment. That point where you stop in life and ask, where were you when this happened? Where were you when the verdict went down? Because this is going to impact this city, this state, and the nation for many years to come.
Tonight, the family of Jacob Blake is calling on the city of Kenosha, state of Wisconsin, and the nation to rise up non-violently. The Kenosha district attorney announced no police officers will face charges for shooting Blake multiple times and leaving him paralyzed. Yesterday, Governor Evers authorized the National Guard to assist local law enforcement deal with potential civil unrest.
Now, we have team coverage tonight on how the DA decided against charges, how the community is responding, and we will start with Madeline O'Neill, who is live tonight in Kenosha. Maddie?
Well, now we're closer to downtown Kenosha. You can see this crowd just started marching here, probably a few dozen people. I'll let you listen in a little bit. What's his name? Jacob Blake. That is what we are hearing tonight. This is right near where the Blake family held their press conference following the DA's press conference. Now, the district attorney's press conference lasted 2 hours. The district attorney said he knew it would be a long conversation and said this requires a detailed and complex discussion. Now, many of us remember seeing the video of the late August incident when Kenosha officer Rustin Shesky shot Blake in the side and back 7 times as he opened the door of a vehicle. DA Michael Gravely says the investigation needed to be laser focused, honing in on what a jury would consider, like if Officer Shesky believed shooting Blake was necessary to protect himself or others. But Gravely says there were things he couldn't take into account, like calls to charge officers simply to send a message, advance racial equity causes, or because Blake suffered.
I just need to be clear, all 3 of those bases are not ethically appropriate or possible bases to charge a criminal case in Wisconsin if you do not believe you can defeat the privilege of self-defense beyond a reasonable doubt.
Former Madison Police Chief Noble Ray was brought in as an extra set of eyes for this investigation. Now, parallel to that investigation, the U.S. Attorney's Office is conducting its own civil rights investigation. Now, the city of Kenosha, as mentioned, is under a state of emergency for the next 8 days. We'll be keeping an eye on things. The crowd is now marching down 52nd Street here. But in the meantime, Naomi Coles has more on DOJ investigative documents and what evidence led up to this decision.
The DOJ released its investigative documents within the last hour, and here's what prosecutors say forms some of the main facts of that case. 2 officers say that they saw a knife while Jacob Blake was struggling with officers behind the SUV. And here's a photo of that knife. This photo was released in the DOJ report and found on the driver's side of the car. Noble Ray says the reason Officer Shesky shot Blake 7 times was because that's how long it took to drop the knife.
The training evolved to the point where, right now, is that you shoot until the threat has stopped.
It is absolutely incontrovertible that Jacob Blake was armed with a knife during this encounter. Uncontroversial. Most uncontrovertible because Jacob Blake, in all of the times he spoke to DCI, admits he possessed a knife.
Now, other photos of the crime scene released in the reports show the back of the car, and that's where prosecutors say children were sitting during the shooting and that the officer who shot Blake believed that he was stopping a kidnapping. Now, later at 10, we'll be providing more complete coverage of the evidence covered in those reports, whether between the DOJ and the Kenosha County DA report. All
right, Naomi Coles reporting. Now, the city of Madison, of course, no stranger to protest activity downtown. We saw people standing against police brutality this past summer.
Gabriella Becerra is live downtown. And Gabby, how is the city preparing for possible protests tonight?
Well, Eric and Charlotte, as of right now, the city has been pretty quiet here at the state capitol. We saw maybe a half dozen protesters just a few minutes ago, but then they left. But the city says they're preparing for no matter what happens. Protests stretched from Kenosha to Madison following the Jacob Blake shooting in August. Now, after the Kenosha County DA's office announced Officer Rustin Chesky will not be charged, the city of Madison is prepared for the possibility of additional protests.
City and the Madison Police Department, along with other departments, obviously watch very closely what's going on in our community and in the state, and certainly always make contingency plans to be prepared for anything that might go on.
The Madison Police Department tells News 3 Now in a statement, quote, "The Madison Police Department is committed to facilitating the expression of community members' First Amendment rights while maintaining public safety. Balancing these goals and maintaining a safe environment under these circumstances is challenging."
Our approach has always been to prioritize keeping people safe. And that includes anybody who might be protesting. It includes officers. It includes bystanders. It includes people living in nearby buildings. And that's what we'll continue to do.
Madison police tell us the department will increase staffing as needed according to protest activity. But that's something Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway is hoping won't be needed.
Honestly, I hope that the announcement is a good one, and that, we see some sort of accountability for what happened in Kenosha. And I hope that any response to that from the community is a peaceful one.
Well, again, it's been pretty quiet here at the top of State Street near the Capitol, and this is where we've seen protesters gather after past events over the summer. We'll continue to monitor the situation, though, and bring you guys any updates.
Gabby, thank you. Governor Tony Evers issued a statement following the charging decision. He writes that Jacob Blake's life has been changed forever. His kids witnessed violence no kid should ever see, and yet when presented the opportunity to rise to the moment and take action, elected officials took no action to provide common sense reform, enhance accountability, and promote transparency. Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes tweeted that this is another instant in a, quote, string of misapplications of justice, end quote. He calls the non-prosecuting DAs, quote, as negligent as the officers in these situations. And
now the Illinois teen charged with killing people during the Kenosha protests over the shooting of Jacob Blake has entered a not guilty plea. Kyle Rittenhouse, now 18 years old, appeared in court this afternoon. His attorney claims there is evidence he acted in self-defense. Rittenhouse faces 2 felony charges of homicide in the deaths of Anthony Huber and Joseph Rosenbaum. He also faces a felony attempted homicide charge for seriously injuring another man.
Turning to weather now, chances for freezing fog tonight. Let's check your first warn forecast with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti.
Hi, Charlotte. That's after a day where a lot of us saw sunshine, at least for a while, before the low clouds and fog started to build back in. The live view from the Edgewater Skycam doesn't show any fog here in the Madison area yet, but you can see visibility starting to drop in some areas, down to a quarter mile in Camp Douglas, quarter mile in Janesville, and 0 in Juneau. So you can see the fog starting to get thicker, and because of that, the National Weather Service has now expanded the dense fog advisory, now in effect until 9 a.m. for much of our viewing area, including Madison and Dane County. Advisory runs until 10 a.m. for parts of northern Illinois and eastern Iowa. Current temperatures are in the lower 20s, a few places in the upper teens. These temperatures will only drop a few more degrees once the fog starts thickening up, so look for skies to become cloudy. We'll see some fog and freezing fog overnight. Temperatures nearly steady in the upper teens. Then for tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies with morning fog and freezing fog, high temperature at 29. Later on, I'll take a look at a forecast that includes more chances for fog as well as cloudy skies.
Gary, thank you. Wisconsin health officials confirm 106 new COVID-19 deaths today, bringing the state's total deaths since the pandemic began to more than 5,000. There are almost 3,500 new cases today. That is above the 7-day average of 2,400 cases. DHS officials report more than 85,000 Wisconsinites have received a vaccine so far. That is only about a third of the almost 267,000 doses that have been shipped across the state. Coming up later in this half hour, we will hear from local medical experts about why Wisconsin is behind other states in the Midwest when it comes to vaccine distribution. This morning, University Health Services administered the first shots of the Moderna vaccine to eligible UW-Madison employees and students. Based on federal and state guidance, employees and students who work directly with COVID-19 patients are eligible. So are people who work directly with the virus and virus samples. The UHS interim director of medical services says while it could be months months before all students and employees can be vaccinated. He is glad to take this first step today.
Small businesses in Dane County are getting another round of pandemic relief funding. Dane County Executive Joe Parisi and Dane Buy Local's Executive Director Colin Murray announced $4 million in funding focused on hard-hit businesses. That includes restaurants, retail stores, startups, gyms, plus yoga and dance studios. Businesses can apply for grants up to $50,000.
The situation that these business owners find themselves in today is not their fault. They didn't cause anything for this to happen, and yet they have major restrictions that are put upon them that cause their functioning as a business become very challenging, very difficult. And so these resources that are provided by the county go a long ways.
Anyone interested in applying can find more information online at danebuylocal.com in the coming days.
Coming up next at 6, a Madison radio host remembers his longtime co-host who died of liver cancer. And Wisconsin gun store owners say the high demand since the start of the pandemic has not subsided. Stay with us.
Now through January 7th, join Planet Fitness for no enrollment. $10 a month, no commitment. 2020 is over. Start 2021 with tons of ways to get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. And spread out while you work out with cardio distancing and our new crowd meter. Plus, use our app to get moving anywhere. Your fitness is essential, so kick things off with the year's best deal. Join for no enrollment, $10 a month, no commitment. Deal ends January 7th.
5 Madison area locations. Sign up for $10 a month. Stop in today.
We drive everywhere to help our son reach his dream of becoming an elite swimmer. So we enrolled in the Know Your Drive program with American Family Insurance. It gives us discounts for safe driving and other benefits, like emergency roadside service, which comes in handy, no matter where his dreams take him. With Know Your Drive, save up to 20% and get closer to your dreams. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Waking up to stuff like this should never be a surprise. Download the Channel 3000 First Warn app and be ready for whatever Mother Nature throws our way. News 3 Now and Channel 3000 put top stories and breaking news at your fingertips. Video alerts and forecasts, simple and fast. Download the Channel 3000 app today.
Watching News 3 Now at 6.
Radio station Mix 95.7 says Connie Kelly of the morning show duo Connie and Fish died after a battle with liver cancer yesterday. She started working the station back in 2012 after she and Fish previously hosted the morning show on Z104. Fish shared a heartfelt message to Connie on Facebook, calling her his sister, his confidant, partner, and teacher. On-air remembrances of Connie will air throughout the week on Mix 95.7.
Gun dealers say the spike in demands for guns and ammunition driven by the pandemic has not subsided here in Wisconsin. Dealers say they're having trouble keeping their stores stocked 10 months after the first COVID cases started showing up in the state. The owner of a gun shop in Superior says pandemic buying has forced her to ration bullets to 1 box per person. After a successful pilot program, the Dane County Farmers Market announced it will continue hosting their Wednesday local food pickups at the Alliant Energy Center through March. The Alliant Pavilion provides shelter from winter weather and allows customers to drive through and pick up their pre-orders. For more information, visit the Dane County Farmers Market website.
Still ahead at 6 to look at Wisconsin's progress on COVID vaccine distribution. Data shows we are lagging behind other Midwestern states. We'll hear from state health officials about why the comparison isn't quite that simple. And freezing fog chances tonight, then cloudy for the rest of the week. Gary with your full forecast coming up.
Is your credit score getting in the way of things you want to do? Personal loans through NetCredit help you borrow up to $10,000. So check your eligibility on netcredit.com today without affecting your credit score. You may even be able to build your credit history as you repay. NetCredit, a more personal loan.
At GHC, we want you to be safer at home. We have more ways for you to get care anywhere, anytime, day or night. Be seen, be safe, be home. We will get through this together, and we will all get better together.
A healthy lifestyle starts with a great night's sleep. Shop Steinhoffel's New Year New Mattress Sale and find all the best brands at the guaranteed lowest prices. Plus, with Steinhoffel's special 60-month financing and free delivery, buying a new mattress has never been easier. So make the change to a healthier lifestyle and get a great night's sleep with a new mattress from Steinhoffel's and Steinhoffels.com.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
When we hear a big storm's headed our way, some of us fall back into bed, some into fresh powder. Spending your day indoors or out, it's all about knowing what to expect. Watch News 3 Now for an accurate first warn forecast so you can plan your perfect day. A sewer backup destroys a Janesville woman's basement.
This isn't my fault. I didn't cause the damage.
But the city says they're not liable either. Why this disabled vet is afraid she'll lose her home. Could it happen to you? News 3 Now investigates. Thursday at 10. Away from your TV? Not a problem. Get breaking news, weather alerts, and political coverage from the award-winning News 3 Now team. Plus, all things Madison. Stay connected anywhere with Channel 3000, Madison's #1 digital news source.
In Wisconsin, more than 85,000 COVID vaccine doses are in people's arms.
So how does that stack up to our neighbors? Amanda Quintana has more details on where the state is in the distribution process.
It's hard not to compare which state is vaccinating people quicker, inching us closer and closer to getting back to normal. A CDC map shows Wisconsin lags behind Minnesota, Michigan, and Indiana when it comes to vaccinating healthcare workers per capita. We've also received thousands fewer doses than many of the surrounding states. But DHS Secretary-designee Andrea Palm says you shouldn't try to compare us to other states.
Different states are at different stages of opting into the skilled nursing and assisted living programs, and at different stages of setting aside vaccine for those programs.
Wisconsin has set aside 106,000 doses for CVS and Walgreens to use in long-term care facilities. Those doses are not included in the 266,000 doses that have been shipped to Wisconsin and the 35,000 expected to arrive next week. With a slowdown over the holidays, DHS is working to ramp up efforts, now with more than 1,000 vaccinators ready, up from fewer than 50 just last month.
It's exciting, it's hopeful, but it's a process.
At UW Health, with 13,000 employees eligible to get a vaccine in this first round, Dr. Matt Anderson says they've vaccinated more than 8,000. That's about where he thought they'd be by now, and they're moving as quickly as they can.
I think what you're seeing in Wisconsin right now is more and more vaccinators coming on board will, as supply increases, then enable us to be giving more shots. You're also seeing people getting familiar with the process. So it's slow the first week, sometimes the first 2 weeks.
But as for how long it'll take to get through just this first group, a lot of that depends on how many doses the federal government gives the state.
Without preview for future weeks and understanding sort of how much is coming off the manufacturing line and therefore how much is going to come to Wisconsin without a lot of notice, it's very difficult for us to figure out or calculate.
Amanda Quintana, News 3 Now.
Time now for your first warn forecast. Here's Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
Well, Eric, the fog continues to expand across southern Wisconsin. Three things you need to know. Not only could we have fog, but also the potential's there for freezing fog overnight as temperatures drop into the upper teens to lower 20s. Then for tomorrow, we'll see cloudy skies with the fog mainly lifting in the morning, but the clouds will continue pretty much for the rest of the week, and I don't have any precipitation falling from those clouds from tomorrow all the way through Wednesday of next week. The next chance of snow looks like it'll be some light snow or flurries from Thursday afternoon into Friday of next week, and that could be followed by a shot of colder air. Otherwise, dense fog advisory has now been expanded through much of south central Wisconsin, including Dane County and Madison. That advisory runs until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Areas south of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line under a dense fog advisory till 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Visibilities continue to drop. Madison still at 5 miles, but Janesville at a quarter mile. Juneau, zero visibility right now. Camp Douglas and the Bear Boudels Airport, also Lone Rock, reporting quarter-mile visibilities or less. Across the central part of the Midwest, you can see lots of locations in northern Illinois reporting quarter-mile or less visibility, and the fog expands into central and northern Wisconsin. But to the west, it's still pretty clear, and not much fog is expected. So the dense fog advisories run from northeastern Minnesota all the way down into northern Illinois, including southern Wisconsin. Clouds are starting to come in from the west ahead of a weather system that'll take a more southerly path or kind of reform to our south, and that'll keep the snow out to the west. We'll get the clouds from it, but you can see the rain and snow showers out there will stay to our west. We're not looking for anything here. Temperatures in the 20s here, some 30s and 40s out ahead of that weather system, but on future track, you can see as the clouds spread in, the precipitation just kind of spins around, and then eventually as the storm center reforms farther to the south, that will actually take most of the precipitation with it. So we'll see the clouds continue into Thursday, Friday, and probably Saturday as well, and there'll be some areas of fog at night just for good measure. So again, dense fog advisory in effect until 9 a.m. for much of our viewing area. Look for a low temperature tonight of about 17. Tomorrow's high 29 degrees with cloudy skies and some fog and freezing fog mainly in the morning hours. The 7 to 10 day forecast, cloudy skies through Saturday, highs upper 20s to lower 30s. Maybe a few more peaks of sun early next week, highs upper 20s to around 30. And then the snow chances from Thursday afternoon into Friday, a little colder at the end of next week.
And coming up in sports, bracketology has already begun. The latest projection seed for the Badgers and Greg Gard's thoughts on March Madness in Indiana. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Hey, Tom.
Sheila. Hey, don't take losing the Anderson business personally.
I resigned it, Tom. I guess they didn't tell you about their opossum problem.
I thought it was pronounced possum.
At Papa Murphy's, we make fresh pizza that you bake at home. Because home is where the fun is. Right now, get the Herb Chicken Mediterranean Pizza for just $9. Papa Murphy's. Change the way you pizza.
So I can get the latest phones free with no hidden requirements? Yep, all season long.
And do I have to get the most expensive plan?
Nope, no plan restrictions.
Okay, but we have to trade in our phones.
Right?
Right?
Nope, keep your phones.
Did you say free phone?
Yep, the latest phone's free for you.
Okay, in.
Switch to U.S. Cellular and get the latest phones free, available all season long with no hidden requirements. U.S. Cellular, upgrade to fair.
Accurate news as it happens.
We want to make sure our vaccination sites are ready.
Right here, where you live.
Nearly half of Dane County's total COVID deaths have come in the last month.
Information that you can use.
These case counts are still testing our public health system and straining our hospital system.
From the team you can trust.
So many generous people are willing to help us.
For more local stories that impact your life, News 3 Now. Get more local news now with Channel 3000 Plus, our free digital streaming service that brings you area news and info 24/7 from the News 3 Now team. Channel 3000 Plus. Download it today and watch from your streaming media player or mobile device. Download the Channel 3000 First Warn Weather app today.
Folks, with several school districts considering bringing students and teachers back, we're asking, is it safe? Do the benefits outweigh the risks? We'll take a look at both sides. Wednesday morning, join us from 4:30 to 7.
Selection Sunday is around 2 months away, so of course it's time to start looking at the bracket projections. And Andy Katz's latest bracket has the Badgers a 3 seed with their opening round matchup against Hofstra. Like we said yesterday, all the tournament games will be played in the state of Indiana. And as far as Greg Gard's thoughts on the NCAA's March Madness bubble, well, he's in.
We can't replicate the NBA's bubble because it's just, that's impossible. Nobody left that thing the whole time. And but to try to, bunker down as much as possible, I guess is the best route and probably the best. I can't think of a better place to put it than Indianapolis. So I guess we'll see how it works.
It's not a new thing to see Giannis dominate a game. Last night he was in total control, putting up 43 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists against the Pistons. But what was new, how he did it. It wasn't just all dunks from the reigning MVP. Giannis showed off his arsenal of post moves, and his new game down low isn't a surprise to the rest of his team.
Just continues to find ways to get better. He wants to learn. He wants to be able to play all positions and have every move and every footwork in his arsenal.
He's comfortable, with a lot of different situations, and whether it's the fadeaway, the getting to the middle, finishing, playing through contact. You never want to not appreciate how special and how good he is and how much he's improving.
Like Eric Burrell yesterday, Isaiah Loudermilk made it official. The Badger defensive end is throwing his name into the NFL draft. Loudermilk played in 40 games in 4 years at Wisconsin, recording 63 tackles, 11.5 tackles for loss, and 7.5 sacks. The UW senior announced his move on Twitter this afternoon. And fresh off their schedule release, Kelly Sheffield and company start off the year where they want to end up, at number 1. Wisconsin claims the top spot in the coaches' preseason poll. The Badgers are one of 6 Big Ten teams ranked in the top 25, and as expected, the league is going to be tough with 4 teams ranked in the top 10. UW opens up their season January 22nd against Purdue. And Eric, a big congrats to Leroy Butler and Charles Woodson. They were named finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Very deserving, and good luck to those guys. Yeah. What careers they had. Let's go to Gary. Final check of the forecast.
Well, dense fog advisory has now been expanded through much of southern Wisconsin, including Madison, till 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Right now, we're seeing the fog really thickening up east of Madison and northwest of Madison as well.
All right, Gary, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.